All right, week number 2 of this. They
Hey,
say
David.
if you do it like, I don't know, if you do something 3 or 4 weeks in a row, it becomes a habit. So maybe we're halfway to being a habit.
We're almost there.
Okay, so agenda. I want to talk about what happened with GameStop and silver and all that stuff since we were talking about it last week. So that's item 1. Item 2 is talking about crypto. I know we both hold a little bit, and there's some all-time highs and some other news. We're talking real quick before this, and it sounds like you don't know the other news, so that'll be fun. And then I sent you a link to the NBA Hot Shots, so I want to talk about that too.
We'll
And then
talk about
the
the
last
NBA hot shots.
the NBA Hot Shots. I opened the pack earlier with a friend on stream, so I can show you what happened. And then the last thing I want to talk
Wait,
about.
but I have a
What?
question. Are we
What?
gonna be able to see what's inside this NBA thing?
Yeah. I opened it. So there's another video. It's like 20 minutes long. I'll explain when we get there. And then last, I want to talk about the best stock investment I've ever made. I might have done better in Bitcoin a long time ago, but the idea around this is like, how do you know when to sell? Because even though from a percentage standpoint, it's my best by far, I think. I've sold off so much before, and I'm really just lucky I even have what I have at this point. So with that, I'm going to share the screen and we can look at GameStop. Let me see.
GameStop.
Share the screen. Here we go.
Which I guess you can say that game has stopped.
The game has stopped, I guess. I think, I'm not really surprised that's what happened. It's all the way back down to 60. Um,
Which is still 5 times more what it was at the beginning.
Yeah, well, so it was 19, almost 20 back in early January. So it has definitely come way down. I'm a little surprised how quickly the peak was, only a couple of days, but with all the Robinhood stuff, it seems like, all those people on Reddit were talking about diamond hands, which means like we hold the line, we keep it, we don't sell. But it definitely seems like they all got out once it got a little painful. The other one, I never was in the GameStop. I was in a little bit of silver. And I'm holding it because it's like $30 strikes for next December. But there was a little bit of like movement. Let me see if you can see it. This is Monday coming home. I'm coming after that weekend where everyone was talking about the next thing after GameStop.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of like people saying it was not really the Redditors. It was just a bunch of people, maybe hedge funds, trying to get them to drive the price up. I mean, silver would be something super hard to short squeeze just because of how much there is.
Wait, but hold on a second. Were people shorting silver?
Well, there's like this whole conspiracy theory out there that like some of the banks are short and that there's more paper trading than there is actual hard silver. And so if everyone were to ask them to actually deliver the silver, it would end up creating a crazy spike where we go to $1,000 an ounce or something. It just seems like all that is past. I don't see really anyone talking about that. Although there are, gold and silver bugs out there, and I think a lot of them kind of took this opportunity to tell their story again about unsound money and the Fed printing and got to get back into silver. And I would subscribe a little bit to the theory. That's why, one, I have silver coins. I've had them for a while, and then two, why I had the options. But the podcast I was listening to said like $50 would be the best like bull case scenario, which is pretty much where silver has spiked over like this is back 10 years ago, around that. So
What happened 10 years ago? Why did it spike?
I think the rumor was that what I heard was Buffett had bought some or something. I don't really know. The other thing was the chart doesn't go back that far, but in the 80s there was another spike up to 50, and there's this whole story about the Hunt brothers trying to corner the silver market. And I guess now like there's actually rules in place by the exchange where you can't even acquire as much silver as would be possible. So in order to do anything, you would need all these different market participants to come together to drive the price.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about silver that I think might have a little bit of tailwind is that it does have actual use in like a lot of electronics and like think about renewable batteries and solar panels. I just don't know how much of this applies actually going into there.
It's big of a market. So like if they, like some of these theories, some are completely bogus, right? So I have a hard time believing that there's more sort of paper trades than there is actual silver in the world. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But because one way or the other, the ETFs have to have, they have to be somewhat anchored to some deposits. They can't just make up that they have deposits. So, but they nonetheless, I mean, some of these sort of, I think you can squeeze small markets, right? So, but you can't squeeze large markets. This is too big of a market. I mean, you're never going to be able to squeeze this.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Silver, like the whole market is way too big, and this is Nokia is one that those Reddit people run as well, and like the market cap of Nokia is like 24 billion. So it was one that never it had like a pop for a day, but like nothing even comparable to any of these other ones. It's just you can't move something that is that big. So, anyways, let's move over to crypto. So the big news today is that Tesla has added $1.5 billion to their balance sheet in Bitcoin.
Ah, I see. So wait, I have read somewhere that they are now accepting Bitcoins as a way of payment for cars.
It said maybe, and that part hasn't come out for sure. I mean, It sounds like it probably will. I guess they dropped some. I don't want to log in. I just want to see the chart.
Go to crypto compare. I like crypto.
Well, I don't want to log into my Coinbase just in case someone sees it, but I saw earlier it was trading at 48,000. I mean,
Go to crypto compare, David.
What?
Go to crypto compare. It's all together, but that's all right.
All right, well, we'll find it. $46. And Ethereum.
46? Jesus.
Yeah.
That's 20% bump in, it's more, like it's like,
yeah,
20% bump in like 4 days.
In 24 hours, it's up 20%. And I mean, the big news was the Tesla stuff this morning.
So how much money do they have?
1.5 billion.
Damn.
So that's, I think, the biggest, I don't know, like big companies that added Bitcoin. I mean, the only ones I know besides that is Square and PayPal, which are kind of different. Like they're at least financial services business, so it might make sense for them. But then Tesla owning Bitcoin it's a little bit different. So there's a whole bunch of speculation on what it could mean and what could happen. Like someone I saw was talking about how the way they're classifying it on the balance sheet, basically, if the Bitcoin price goes down, Tesla can expense it and so save on taxes. And then if the Bitcoin price goes up, they actually don't have to recognize that as far as in their income statement. It's just reflected on the balance sheet until they sell. So it could be an interesting like tax play for them. I also saw somebody say that they could see Elon doing like a Bitcoin dividend, which would totally get all the retail people all excited. So who knows? But I don't remember if we're talking about it last time, but like I'm getting more and more convinced like Bitcoin's going to be here for the long haul. Like I can't tell you if 46,000 is the right price today, but like I just think over the 10 years it's going to be here. And if more companies like Tesla buy Bitcoin and have it on their balance sheet, I almost feel like we get into a place where it becomes too big to fail. Like I just imagine if Apple adds it, Microsoft adds it, Google adds it.
But hold on a second. So you need to ask yourself why they have it. So are you saying is this news saying that Tesla went out and bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin?
Exactly. Yeah, they don't use it as a payment today. They bought it on the open market.
So how much is the float? 27 billion. I guess. Yeah, I guess like you could do that.
Well, I don't know how many days it took them to acquire it all as well.
Yeah, but I guess like one thing is to say, okay, I'm accepting payments in Bitcoins, right? So that kind of creates value for the currency in one way or another. I mean, there's a whole lot of problems in sort of figuring out what that value is, okay, but that's fine. But for them to have to sit on that much Bitcoin, I mean, considering how volatile it is, it's kind of crazy.
And they have about 20 billion in cash before this, so they spent like 7% of all their cash on Bitcoin.
I mean, one thing could be that I don't know, Elon Musk is a little crazy, so companies often have sort of things that are cash equivalents. I mean, I'd be curious to know if they classify these as cash equivalent.
I'm not sure where it's going to be on the balance sheet. It'd be interesting.
Wow, but that's a very big pop.
Yeah, and I saw a rumor. This is a rumor on Twitter. No idea if it's true, but someone was saying that they were hearing Apple was going to add 5 billion to their balance sheet.
Okay, so this is for next week. Okay, so this is going to be your homework for next week. We need to dig a little bit more into this, into why. So why does it make sense? So taxes seems a little too much because it's so volatile that, man, I mean, you could be like on December 31st, you're sort of in the money, and on January 1st, it's like the price went down 20%.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
But I think Tesla being first basically here in this space, like I think is gonna make other corporations and treasurers question like, hey, is this something we should be doing? Or is this gonna be something we have to watch for a while?
I mean, like, look, corporations do, generally speaking, they, in the past, they've done all sort of stupid stuff, right? So, um, you don't remember this because this was 12, 13 years ago. There were these securities that were kind of a financial engineer way to transform a long-term bond into a short-term bond that was still paying something close to a long-term yield. Right? So imagine that you're sort of holding a security that is something like a 1 week note, but in reality, it's a 30-year bond. Okay.
Okay.
And this was very popular for cash management, uh, firms' cash management, because it was paying higher yield than short term, right? So it was paying more than sort of the equivalent of a 1 week, LIBOR rate or something like that. And so this was just beautiful. It went on for 3, 4 years, and this market was very large at some point. It had like maybe $200-300 billion of issuances.
Hmm.
And then eventually the market stopped working because there was a very strange sort of mechanism behind the market. And at some point, it was not profitable for the banks to make that market anymore. They walked away. So now all of a sudden, you think you're holding a 1 week bond, and in reality, you're holding a 40-year bond that is impossible to liquidate because nobody wants to buy it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so they got royally screwed. There were a lot of lawsuits and stuff like that. So now that has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but in itself, but it's just like one example of a fashion that looks very good at the beginning and then ends up being a disaster, right? And I can't quite see. I mean, at this point, at this level of volatility, Bitcoin is not a currency, right? So this is an investment and a very risky investment, uh, at least in the short term. I mean, I don't know if maybe Tesla is like, okay, I'm going to hold this for 40 years. I really believe that this is going to work and they're going to make a killing out of it. Sort of like the two brothers. What are they called? I can never say their name.
Winklevoss.
Yes, exactly. I mean, those guys struck gold cube, right? But it's a very risky bet for a publicly traded company. I mean, say that this market, goes in the trash can like it did 3, 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They bought at $40,000 and it goes down to, I don't know, $5 or $6, $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge loss. Can you imagine what that's going to do to their market share, like the price?
I'm curious, like what people like if the Tesla bulls would even care, or if they just be like, in Elon we trust, it'll be fine in the long run. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
Yeah, and then you got your Ethereum there at I think all-time highs, 1,700 or so.
Yeah, it was a 1730 the other day, 4 or 5 days ago. But yeah,
We should have bought more just about a month ago.
uh, don't even let me start talking about this stuff. Anyway, so now this is a good segue because now I don't know what to do with my Ethereum. Should I sell it? Should I hold it?
I so it goes to get back to my question on the other thing is like I don't know. At least with the stock, you sort of have like an earnings multiple and can like there's some sort of valuation. With these things, there is none of that. So it's like whatever story people can come up with to convince other people uh, that there's value there. I mean, I think you just like for me, I have like 20K in crypto. I'm not selling it. I might add a little bit here and there. Like I have an automatic buy through Coinbase, but like at this point, it's kind of sad because like a couple $100 a month doesn't really change much on the how much you're holding. While before it kind of added up pretty quickly. Yeah, I look at it just like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, so I'm just going to hold it and see where it goes. I mean, the for Ethereum, it's all about like if crypto platforms get built out, and if that happens, then I think there's a lot of value there. Which so for you, like I would sell what you don't feel comfortable holding, but then just like let the rest ride.
I Man, that's interesting. It's gonna. I mean, I can't sell it because that's a heck of a tax bill at this point. But damn.
Well, you've had
Anyway,
it for long term. I don't. It's been forever since I looked at the taxes, so I don't know if it's like capital gains or
no,
what the rate is.
it's capital gain at this point. But still, anyway, I think I'm gonna hold it until it goes to parity with Bitcoin.
I mean, it could. Who knows?
Gee.
So I'll transition because this whole NBA Hot Shots thing is built on Ethereum.
Okay, all right.
Hot
So
Shots.
show me this thing.
Okay. So I saw it on like I think it's Twitter or someone's blog, but basically it's like all these. Think about it as like digital sports cards, but they're moments of the player's history. It could be like a 3-point shot or a dunk or whatever, and every moment is like on the blockchain. So there's only going to be so many of them. Like here, this is some moment. I'm just clicking on some random thing, so you can kind of see the idea. So it's just like this guy's dunk. This is the series he's in. There's 420 of them. The lowest price now is 120, and the highest price is $250,000. But they're limited by the blockchain. Okay,
What do you mean the highest price is to 250,000?
so people can like it's like eBay. You just like list your bid and your ask.
Oh, I see.
So someone has it listed for 120. Someone else has it listed for $250,000.
That's a heck of a bid spread.
Well, so what matters here is that like serial numbers matter. So if you have like serial number 1, they say it's worth more than serial number 9,000. And then the other thing people care about is like the jersey number. So it looks like he's number 12. So jersey or serial number 12 could be worth more than other ones. But yeah, and there's like it's just like playing cards. Like there's commons and rares and limited editions and hollows and all this stuff, right?
Okay.
And the other thing that I liked was like it's done with the NBA. So like NBA logo here. It's got like their copyright down here. So it's not like some one-off kind of market where there's going to be another version of this by the NBA. I think there'll probably be like NFL and baseball and hockey, etc. The last reason I kind of like this was I think the NBA is pretty big in China, so like them buying them with the crypto over there, I could see possibly. So I got interested, and what they normally do is sell these packs for $9 or $10, $14, and these are like base set packs, but they sell out super quickly. Okay.
Okay.
Like it's very hard to get them. But on Saturday they had a hollow pack, so it was like guaranteed you were gonna get some rares and stuff like that. So I thought about it for a day. The pack cost $1,000, which seems so stupid. But I decided I wanted to do it because a couple more reasons. Like one is like super early in this space. This is the second holo pack that they've ever had. So just consider for a moment that in 10 years, these Top Shot things are still a big deal. Like having cards from the second pack ever is worth something, maybe. The other thing is I see just the whole world caring more and more about digital things. Like we were talking about Bitcoin, but like imagine in 10 years we have virtual reality headsets on, and I've been collecting cards, but not these cards, like physical cards. I can't really show you my physical cards because we're in virtual reality. But if we're in virtual reality, I can show you these and we can talk about them and like compare and trade. So I just think there's a long shot of this actually becoming a real thing in the future. Okay. Then the last thing I did before buying is like you can go back into this marketplace and you can search, you can do these filters and you can search for the legendary ones. And so basically I sorted by the lowest ask for legendary, and the lowest ask was around $1,000. And you're guaranteed in one of these packs to get a legendary one. So the worst case scenario, I sort of break even. Now,
wait, but that's an ask, right? It's not a bid.
That's what I was gonna say. That's an ask. That doesn't mean that for sure I'm gonna sell it. But there were 3 big transactions that happened with these in January. There were 2 cards that sold for over 100,000, and a third card that sold for 80,000.
Wow.
So there's volume. It's happening. I just don't know like how much volume there is. Okay. So I opened up my pack.
Okay, let's look at your pack.
Okay, and I'm not big on NBA, so I don't really know most of these players. I opened up my pack, and the legendary one I got is this Anthony Davis one.
Okay,
I actually
that's
know who he is, so that's good. And the ask on this card, guess how much?
The ask is so wait, is Anthony Davis with the Lakers jersey? Okay, the ask for that is $5,000.
It is $5,000.
Wow,
that's the lowest ask. And then I have a couple of these limited edition ones, like this Julius Randle, and then Jimmy Butler and Donovan Mitchell, and they're all about going for around 300 each. So my plan is I'm going to try to sell these 3 to get 900 back, and keep my Anthony Davis, and just see what happens over time.
all right. Why don't we do it live? Put it live on. Let's do it now.
I've never tried to sell one, so I don't know how to. Here, place for sale. Price in USD. I wonder if it'll pricing helper. Here we go. So this one, the highest price is almost 2,000, but you can see it's because of the serial number. So if we go to
what serial number are you?
Lowest price is 198. Let's see. This one is 231 as a serial number. So let me go back to price helper. Serial number, low to high. What did I say? 231?
238.
38. So it's around 300. I'll list it for 300.
Gee.
Okay, this one I placed for sale. And I'll let you know if these sell on here.
Don't worry about it. You can do it later, so that somebody also doesn't hack you in the process.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So last thing on here is my best investment.
No, wait. But I have questions about this.
All
So,
right. Fine.
how big is the market for cars, like physical cars?
Hold on. I want to say one more thing about the pack I bought.
Yeah.
So there was only 2,000 of the packs available, and 30,000 people tried to get them. So I got lucky to be one of the people that got the pack. Now, so that's one thing. You asked about like normal cards. The market is huge. It's like really exploding.
Huh.
Yeah, like real, like normal car, like hard physical cards. The rare ones will go for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, I understand. So that those are the baseball, whatever. That isn't there one baseball card that there are 5 of them that always trades for billions? No, not billions, but uh, the rarest baseball card. What is it called? Uh, anyway, you don't know that either.
I'll tell you that the one thing I've been following a lot since COVID is Pokemon cards, and the rarest Pokemon card went for $500,000. So, uh, you know, I'm kind of looking at this as a joke, but maybe not.
No, I mean, look. So, if you want to be more serious about this, or more serious, not that we have not been serious, right? But if you want to place this in a context that is more sort of less looked down upon, like cards, think about art, right? So, what is the value of art, right? So, why does a painting sell for, $100 million? I mean, it's a painting, right? So, in it's not even something that you can actually enjoy, because nobody who owns those paintings actually has the painting with themselves, because it's too risky. It's not
Yeah.
that you can hang it at home, right? So, like, there's definitely a value in sort of things that are rare. So there are only so many paintings of so and so, so they must be worth. Collectively, we decided they're worth something, so somebody is willing to pay that price. So as long as there is a market, I mean, this is not very different than you know uh, art or sculptures or things of that sort. The fact that it is digital, that makes it a little bit interesting, right? Because as you were saying, people don't have a problem paying a lot of money for physical objects that are rare, whether those are cars or watches or any sort of thing. But this is being digital. This is different, right? It's sort of a. I mean, maybe your generation, the younger kids, have no problem with this because they have internalized that fine digital. That everything is going to be digital in 50 years, so who cares? Uh, but that's very. It's interesting. So, is
So
there any other sort of similar market for digital pieces of I don't know, art or cards, or is the NBA the only one doing this?
um, a couple of things is like I think that you're right. In the younger generation, digital is going to be the normal thing for them. Like I still have a hard time getting over this being digital. Like, because you saw what the cars look like. It's like a short movie. If I want to watch that little clip, I just go on YouTube and can find it. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what I'm actually owning, other than like a, a limited number of these specific things on this website. So it's just kind of bizarre. But I think younger generation, this is just gonna be normal to them. Like it's gonna be just as normal as for me going to Walmart as a kid, getting a deck of cards. They're gonna be like, I just got my app and bought them on this website. That's how it works.
I mean, there is no immediate difference, right? So I remember like being, and I don't think I ever completed one of these albums. So like in Italy, you used to have at the beginning of the soccer season, there would be an album with little pictures for each player that you would buy in packs. But they were you would actually stick. They were stickers. You literally you would stick it in this big giant folder. Okay. I never finished. I never completed any one of them because, but there was certainly a thrill into going to buy these things. I mean, I think I was at an age where I didn't understand money at all. So whatever, and they were, they were not. They were selling for whatever nominal price they had. So it was what it was. But um, yeah, I mean, I guess like kids will have digital, collections of cards for sure. That way they don't spoil. It's going to be easier to resell them at mint in mint conditions because everything is in mint conditions. But yeah, this is definitely new. So going back, is this the only one, or
So I have seen some like what I say is tokenization of art. So it'd be something where like there's a Picasso painting and everyone can buy like, you know, a quarter of a slice of it or whatever. And so you're owning it as like a group of like 100,000 people.
I see.
So that's out there. And then there was something a few years ago called Crypto Kitties, which was like basically the same idea, like these digital cards, and some of the cats were rare. And I remember for a while the value of them got kind of crazy weird, like $1,000 for a random cat image. I don't know where that's at now, but I think the fact that the NBA is behind this adds a lot more to the story.
But so you pay with this in dollars. You didn't pay with this in.
No, I transferred over Bitcoin.
And do they take anything at this point, or do they only take Bitcoins?
No, you can use your credit card as well. But I kind of looked at it as I don't want to like necessarily add more money into this allocation. So I just looked at it like moving allocation from crypto into this thing.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll get some more. It was fun to open up the pack. So
did you go on this by yourself, or do you have somebody else is owning some of the pack?
Mark was on while I opened the pack, but it's all mine. I own it. I tried to convince Mark to do it, but he didn't want to do it. And not the $1,000 pack, but the $9 packs. There were some of the $9 packs Friday night, and I had them in the queue, but they were taking so long to check out because this thing's still in beta, and I actually fell asleep. So when I woke up like an hour later, my cart was empty, and I was like, "No, my packs!"
Oh boy.
All right, I'm gonna move to the last thing. So a little backstory here is when I worked at Dell, I had a friend who, super nice guy. He took a new job at this company called Digital Turbine back in like 2015, 16. Okay.
All right.
And I'd never heard of them and was just like, okay, good luck, man. But then I kind of looked at their 10K and I noticed that the market cap of the stock was trading less than the equity value on their balance sheet. So, and they're a tech company. And so just as a joke for fun, I bought 3,500 shares of Digital Turbine. It was trading at 67 cents.
Okay.
So I put about $2,000 in at 67 cents. Now, those 3,500 shares were in my Schwab account.
Okay.
So you can imagine when I made that investment.
Is this your account?
What?
Is this the account? Your average cost was 95 cents?
So this is a different. I'll get to this one. So in my Schwab, I had 3,500 at 67 cents.
Okay.
You can imagine, like, as it goes up to $1, $2, $3, I start trimming the position. I'm selling now, a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm up 3 or 4x. I think I've crushed it. At $5 or $6, I think I exited all of my Schwab position. So I sold out of everything. Well, I had forgotten that I started a Robinhood account. So this is Robinhood. And I signed up maybe a month after I bought, and I bought like $200 worth. That's all I transferred into Robinhood. So you can see cost basis was $95, and I bought 217 shares. Yeah, I guess maybe a little over 200 bucks. So the only reason I have this is I forgot I even owned it. So I logged in during COVID, like when the crash was happening, and was because I was like sharing my URL with people because you get like an extra free stock if they buy two, and it's just crazy. Like it went from in this past year from like the $5, $4, all the way up to now we're at 90.
Wow. So this went up 200 times.
My total return on this is 9,000%.
Wow.
And I still don't know if I should sell it now. Like they just crushed earnings. And
So
I'm like,
what
I'm
does
way up.
what does Digital Turbine do?
So they're really big in the app space. So they're not involved with iPhone because iPhone and Apple doesn't let them do this. But if you buy an Android phone, what you can do if you're a company, you can basically pay to get your app loaded on the home screen before, like whenever someone buys it. So like you go to the store, you buy your Samsung phone,
Yeah.
and if I'm Expedia, I can pay like $1 or $2, and I'll have that app already installed on the screen.
Okay.
And that's the main thing they do.
Wow.
But over time, they've just added more and more devices. So Android has a bunch of different, like LG and Samsung, and it goes on and on. And then that also have to have to deal with the specific carrier as well. So over time, they just have added more and more and more. And then as people buy phones, if I have an old phone, I buy a new one, I get the app preloaded on that phone. So that's
But so
what's driven it up.
what happened to this company that the price went from $5 to $90 this year?
I mean, I think that the fact that just kept adding carriers and like phones, and it's just over time now they have so much in their ecosystem. And the other thing is, I feel like if you're too small of a company, you just don't get covered in like mainstream news.
Sure.
But once you sort of break that $1 billion market cap, you begin to have analyst coverage, and that kind of like has a cycle of its own. So how do you know when to sell? Like, what do you do? People say stop losses. People say like trim is on the way up. People say like you keep adding to your winners. I don't know.
What we know about people is that people are very good at buying, but they're terrible at selling.
Okay.
Okay. So all the research that is out there pretty much says the same thing. And so selling is the hardest part, essentially. Um, because people tend to sell like at the wrong times when the market is going down and stuff like that, and the market always rebounds. So now, I don't know. Like I think in this particular case, for I mean this company, right? It's not that it went up from I don't know $1 to $90 in the span of years, which would make sense. This went up from $5 to $90 this year alone. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it just went from $57 to $90 in about a week.
I mean, I think it's time to sell it. I mean,
No, I'm gonna keep it. I don't
eh.
know. I mean, I want to sell it, but I don't want to make a mistake.
So I mean, I think like the reasonable question is what is the upside, right, and what is the downside? So if I look at this chart, to me, the downside is that this might go back to the $5-10 range, and maybe this is just part of the sort of the complete bonkers valuations that are in the market right now. And that Tesla or Apple are not going to lose. They're not going to sort of lose 90% of their value. But for a small company, although this is not that small anymore, uh, you know, it's not completely unreasonable that the company loses, I don't know, 50%. The equity goes down by 50%.
Well, look at this. This is the earnings per share estimates. So green is actual. They beat the estimates basically every time. The other thing is that they're a profitable company.
Huh?
So, there's a lot of these software companies that are trading at multiples of their cash or revenue, and this one actually has real earnings to support it. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm at this point, I feel lucky I just forgot about it. I'm just gonna see where it goes.
No, but so going back to how to think about this, right? So maybe it's a upside versus downside type of thing. So a 90, so this is a $1 billion company. I mean, can it go to, I mean, if they keep doing what they're doing, let's stick with that, okay? Because maybe they'll be doing something else. But if they keep doing what they're doing, can this go to 20 billion?
I don't see why not if they keep executing. I mean, I would be surprised if it happens as quickly as it did this past year. Another 20x. But maybe this past year is a bit of catch up. They're finally being recognized on like the markets that have analyst coverage now, and that maybe the climb over the next 12 months will be a little bit more steady than it has been. Uh, Basically, a straight line in the past year.
Wow. Well, I mean, good job on forgetting that you own this.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a very nice $20,000.
but bad job of selling the other 3,500 shares. That'd be like $250,000 now.
This is like me when the first time I thought to buy Ethereum, it was trading at $10, and it took me until it went to $200 to buy some. So it's all right. It's what it is. Wow, that's crazy. Um, yeah, I don't know, but so like the 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 answer is that there is no answer, right?
Yeah.
So I think what most uh, sort of, I mean, we would have to ask somebody who does portfolio management to ask them exactly what kind of rules they implement. Because a lot of hedge funds that are long short, they have sort of somewhat rules in place, right? So they have algorithms that figure out holdings. So to some extent, they're free from this problem of having to decide when it's time to unload. But there are
Mm.
certainly funds that are long only that don't hold a lot of stocks that have to make these kind of decisions all the time. Well, so what my friends tell me in the industry is that the only way to survive is to have a process, so that
Mm.
this does not become, an emotional decision, but there is some sort of a you have already decided beforehand when enough is enough. So that's a little bit easier to handle, because otherwise it's impossible. Like, I'm sure that any fund that were holding this starting from where you started would have already sold this, essentially. Unless you have enough of the company that you actually sit on the board and you see what happens, then it's a different issue, because you have information there. But not knowing anything about anything, that's a hard problem. I think once you cross 1,000%, yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. When I sold out like $5 or $6 the rest of my Schwab position, I thought I'd hit a home run. But
Wow.
yeah,
So when did you figure this out?
that it was in my account still.
Yeah.
I think it was around March timeframe, like
Okay.
towards the bottom of the crash.
These guys didn't crash at all.
Well, you can't really see it on this chart, but it did go down. I remember when I logged in. Yeah, see. Oh, wait, is this? Oh, here. Let me get back a year. I think you can't even tell because the chart's so crazy now, but it was, what is this, 6, and it went down to the 3s.
I see. I
So it
see.
did drop like half of the value.
Yeah.
Now it's like dwarfs it.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Gee, look
All
at that.
right.
All right. So what are we going to talk about next week?
Uh, we could talk about my favorite investment right now.
Okay.
We texted a little bit about it a few months ago, but I have the biggest allocation in all my assets to U.S. marijuana stocks.
Okay.
So we can get into why I think it is such a good idea. I even since I texted you, and if you look at my positions, they're all up between 50 and 100%. And I think my biggest problem is I don't have enough money in them. Like I honestly think like uh, if I just hold on, it'll become life changing in the sense like my wealth will accelerate a lot quicker than if I were to not be in this.
I see. Well, we'll talk about wheat stocks then.
Yeah, but we can talk about that. Let me think if there's anything else happening. I'm in a couple of SPACs, so if anything happens on those, we can talk about it. We're just talking about SPACs in general. I'm curious on your opinion because I
Yeah.
have my own strategy. Like today, one that I bought basically doubled, but I don't want to get into it now. Uh,
All right. We'll
We
talk
can talk
about
about that one
specs.
too. And then we'll see if there's anything else that happens.
All right. Very good.
All right. I'm gonna stop this.
All right. All right.